First time I was homeless, I was 24, and had a child. And the child that I had was 2.5 years old because his mom didn't want to be a mom. We were really young. She didn't want to be a mom anymore, so she just split. Came home one day, and she went out the door. As I went in the door, took the car keys to run a little errand, never came back. And there's a little 2.5-year-old boy sitting right there in the front room. And I was a kid myself, you know, my goodness, wow. There was eviction notices, I didn't know it. They were shutting off the power, I didn't know it. I was homeless for the second time. I was getting ready to start John Paul Mitchell Systems. I knew I needed $500,000 to start the company. So I was all excited about it with my good friend, Paul Mitchell, who was a top hairdresser of the day. We're ready to go. Had a few $100s in my pocket. Took the older of the two cars, went down the hill to the bank to get the money. It never came in. We had no money to finance any order, but because I was setting this up with $500,000, the bottle maker, the silk screener, and the filler all thought we had lots of money and gave me 30-day credit. I had 2 weeks left before the first bills were due, and I just went right down the street of Ventura Boulevard and sold door to door to door to door to door, but only to the professional beauty industry because they knew more about hair and what a good hair care product was than anybody else. Today, John Paul Mitchell Systems, I believe, is the largest privately owned hair care company in the world.
John Paul, as a visionary, is a little bit different. He always knows what is cool before the rest of us. Patron is an example of that. He thought that the taste of that tequila, because he usually knows what's cool before the rest of us, would play to the rest of the world.
Nobody wanted it first. They said it's the best tequila in the world, but no one's going to pay almost $38 a bottle. That's what we had to sell it for in 1989. Very long story short, 30 years later, the company had a value of $5,100,000,000, the highest value ever with a spirits company.
There were bumps and bruises, but he put it into the marketplace for the greater good. It took off.
I went on to other companies like the Rocket Group, got involved with all kinds of really cool things that were good for people, whether it's communications equipment, a variety of things.
One of our newest enterprises is in the financial services arena. Our financial services company is PLH Financial, Peace, Love, and Happiness Financial Services. John Paul believes deeply that everyone should have confidence in their finances.
Why did I do all these things? You'd be happy with one multi-billion-dollar company. Why a second or a third or a fourth or whatever? It's because I don't want to retire.
I don't think John Paul will ever stop. It's intoxicating to hear somebody with his vision give you an idea that you know is real, that you know is good, that you know that we can pull off. He's got an ability to make things concrete.
In 2011, I started working with John Paul. It was the same year that he signed the Giving Pledge, and he decided to start JP's Peace, Love, and Happiness Family Foundation. He wanted to start it mainly to continue to give back by conserving the environment, protecting animals, and investing in people. Famously, John Paul lived in his car when he was starting Paul Mitchell, so homelessness is something that he's experienced himself. That's how we got started with Mobile Loaves and Fishes here in Austin.
The vision of Mobile Loaves and Fishes, the why we do what we do, is that we empower communities into a lifestyle of service with the homeless. And nobody represents that more than John Paul DeJoria. Well, it was about 2, maybe 3 Thanksgivings ago, somebody backed out at the last minute. So we decided to pivot to do Frito pie. And I get this call from Constance that JP and Eloise and their family want to come out here and serve on Thanksgiving Day. And I said, that would be great. And she said, JP wants to save Thanksgiving. He will have nothing to do with Frito pie. And he and Eloise spent the entire time in the kitchen working hard. Underneath that extraordinary promoter, it's one of the most humble people I've ever met in my life.
Whether it's taking hundreds of homeless in Austin and other parts of the United States and giving them a place to live, food to eat, job training, and a creation to be back into civil life again with total respect. Whether it's that or looking at saving trees, forests, it's all about changing the world of what we have, and while we're alive, paying a little bit of rent while we're here on this planet for our good fortune.
John Paul just overcame all these things through that vision of the self-fulfilling prophecy is the most important idea, envisioning what you want to be, where you want to go.
He just has such a great way of connecting with people and making sure that they're excited and passionate about what they're doing.
He sees the whole field. When you know the whole field and you know people and you know what's cool and you're a listener, it's a pretty neat formula.